The Celestial Sanctum. One of the goals of Rosicrucian philosophy is to give every human being the means for living in cosmic harmony on the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual planes. The mystical teachings that Rosicrucians receive within the framework of their affiliation contribute greatly to this, to allow them to realize total harmony with the most positive universal forces. Due to its traditional and initiatic nature, the ancient and mystical order Rosicrucius integrates within its egregore a field of cosmic energy from which benefits can be obtained after a person knows how to establish contact with this energy. This field of energy, limited neither by time nor space, constitutes what Rosicrucian tradition designates as the Celestial Sanctum. From the Rosicrucian point of view, the Celestial Sanctum represents the highest plane of consciousness that can be achieved when attuning one's self with the cosmic. This level of consciousness is the virtual expression of what the Rose Croix, as a mystical and philosophical ideal, provides as the purest gift in the service of humanity. This is why you can consider the Celestial Sanctum as the realm of purification, regeneration, revelation, and illumination. If this is so, it is because any contact established with the Celestial Sanctum places the human soul in resonance with the universal soul, and with all of the potential for strength, inspiration, and wisdom contained therein. For all the members of Amorc, it constitutes a pyramid of ideals, knowledge, and virtues, at the symbolic summit of which are the cosmic masters who keep watch over the Rosicrucian tradition. This is why most mystical experiences had by Rosicrucians, while engaged in their private studies, are found at the level of the Celestial Sanctum. Visualization of the Celestial Sanctum. The Celestial Sanctum is not, strictly speaking, a place. However, we all know how difficult it is for the human mind to conceive a field of cosmic energy in the abstract. That is why Rosicrucians use a technique for raising the consciousness towards this field of energy. Before presenting this technique to you, it is essential that you conceive your own visualization of the Celestial Sanctum, because you will be able to contact it only if you can see it mentally. Therefore, it is up to you to create your own way of imagining this symbolic place. Some Rosicrucians visualize it as a cathedral or a church, others as a mosque, synagogue, or some other kind of building dedicated to a particular faith. Naturally, many of them visualize it in the form of a Rosicrucian temple. In fact, there are as many ways of imagining the Celestial Sanctum as there are individuals manifesting a desire to attain it. What is most important is that our visualization of this exalted place evokes within us the most beautiful emotions towards the divine. The ascent of the Celestial Sanctum. Whenever you wish to ascend to the Celestial Sanctum, that is, to the highest plane of consciousness where one may obtain harmonization with the cosmic and receive its blessings, proceed in the following manner. Wash your hands as a sign of bodily purification and dry them well. Then drink a glass of water to symbolize your desire to be as pure as possible on the inner plane. The more your actions and thoughts express your humility and respect toward the divine, the more you bring together the ideal conditions for a conscious harmonization with the Celestial Sanctum. When this is done, sit in a quiet place with your back as straight as possible and your feet flat on the ground and slightly apart. Place your hands on your thighs, palms down. Close your eyes and spend a few moments taking deep breaths. This is done by inhaling and exhaling deeply through the nose in a regular way and without any interruptions between your inhalations and exhalations. Once you feel perfectly relaxed, breathe normally, and while remaining in the same position, recite the following invocation, either mentally or in a low voice. May the sublime essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the Celestial Sanctum and attune in all purity and perfect dignity. So mote it be. As you will notice, this invocation has no religious or sectarian nature whatsoever. Its goal is simply to express your desire to the cosmic for attainment of the Celestial Sanctum. In consciousness, in order to communicate with the wisdom that it symbolizes on the mystical plane. Moreover, it places your spiritual communion under the protection of the egregore of the order, so that no negative influences can be exerted on you while you are in this inner state. After reciting this invocation, begin to imagine that you are ascending to your Celestial Sanctum. In other words, visualize that you're ascending above the room where you are, above your house, your town, your country, all the while going further and further away from the earth, until you see it only as a sphere rotating slowly by itself in space. After contemplating Earth for a few moments, turn your gaze towards the infinite cosmic and continue your spiritual ascent until you perceive your Celestial Sanctum as you have decided to visualize it. It is at this moment that you should imagine it in the form of a cathedral, church, mosque, synagogue, Rosicrucian temple, or landscape. The fact alone that you see it rising in the cosmos and bathed in astral light should fill you with an indescribable inner joy. If you choose to visualize your Celestial Sanctum as a particular kind of building, imagine yourself entering and going to your place of choice where you will sit down. There, while sitting completely relaxed, mentally contemplate the wonders offered for your admiration. The stained glass windows, sculptures, paintings, statues, colonnades, archways, and generally speaking, all the elements which are part of a setting in a place dedicated to prayer and meditation. To this visual beauty, you can add the distinct impression of hearing music that is particularly inspiring. You can also imagine the odor of incense pervading this place in which you have found yourself mentally. Thus, your visualization of the Celestial Sanctum will lead you to become unaware of your body and of the earthly world, so that you will live completely at the level of the soul. Having reached this level, all your thoughts and emotions should be impressed with a great serenity and well-being that no physical satisfaction can bring about. If you prefer to visualize your Celestial Sanctum as a landscape, at the last moment of your ascent, you should merge into it completely, as though it truly existed. In other words, you should find yourself in a forest, or at the ocean shore or riverbank, or beside a lake in the midst of a meadow, or generally in the natural setting that you have chosen for your visualization. Once again, it is important that your mental images include colors, odors, sounds, etc. For instance, you can imagine the blueness of the sky, the fragrance of the flowers, the song of the birds, the murmur of waves, and the blowing of the wind, and so on. As previously mentioned, it is crucial that you lose consciousness of your physical body and surroundings, for this is the condition for you to receive the influx of the most subtle vibrations of the cosmic. Once you are in your Celestial Sanctum, let yourself be pervaded by the sacred, inspiring, and comforting feelings which reign there. With body and soul bathing in this atmosphere, the time has arrived for you to express to the God of your heart the reasons that have drawn you to retire to this place of high spirituality. If a health problem is involved, refer to it mentally as though you were informing the most pure cosmic intelligence conceivable about it. If your presence in the Celestial Sanctum involves the desire to be enlightened concerning some family, social, professional, or other problem, proceed in the same way. If your goal is simply to pray and meditate upon some philosophical subject, do it in this harmonious setting and proceed according to your feelings. After mentally presenting the reason that drew you to ascend to the Celestial Sanctum, do not think about it anymore. Remain completely within the harmonious atmosphere that reigns there. Place yourself in a state of total receptivity. If you reach this state, it is at that exact moment that you will receive a spiritual influx that will comfort you, cure you, inspire you, or bring you to the answer you are seeking, and so on. This does not mean you will be immediately conscious of receiving this influx, because it is situated at a psychic level, which transcends our objective self. However, as the hours or days go by, you will begin to notice the full impact that this cosmic communion will have on you and those around you. In fact, we can state that such a spiritual contact always results in beneficial effects. This is why, despite all appearances, it is impossible to fail when experiencing the Celestial Sanctum. Even if you have the impression that you have failed to raise yourself to the plane of consciousness symbolized by the Celestial Sanctum, you are mistaken, because failure is impossible at the level of the soul. At the end of this period of receptivity, return gradually to the objective plane. See yourself mentally leaving your Celestial Sanctum and imagine yourself journeying back on the path you followed for the ascent. As you return to objective consciousness, open your eyes and say the following invocation mentally or in a low voice. May the cosmic sanctify my contact with the Celestial Sanctum. So mote it be.